morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to another episode of Tales and Tips. I have the privilege today of having my good friend Debbie Freitas here today, who is the current owner of the Delta Humane Society Thrift Store. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to highlight the events in our wonderful community.
And I was excited when we were chatting earlier to find out what a long, rich history you have of helping our community. Things I learned a huge amount about you that I had no idea. You shared with me that you were a deputy sheriff.
I was way back when. That's where I got my footing in this community, and that's where I really became grounded. So many years ago, I won't say exactly how many, but let's just say I was 22 when I started with the Sheriff's Department.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And what made you want to do that? How did you decide one day I'm going to go apply to be a sheriff?
I think for many of us, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA that starts at a very young age. I can recall being 5 years old and my dad, having this discussion and telling him I want to be a police officer 5 years old.
Wow.
And that stayed with me, and just wanting to make a difference. And as I got older, I went for it and really dove in.
And I think that's unique, and that's something you and I share in common, because I knew at a very young age that I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I feel like having that idea in your mindset at that young age, it gives you a path to go forward, and you know what steps you need to take. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people go through college and still have no idea what career they want to choose. For our listeners that aren't aware, can you explain the difference between a police officer and a sheriff, and tell us kind of some of the things that you were in charge of or doing as a sheriff?
Sure. Well, it used to be one of the major things that you would visually see were the colors of the uniform, tan or green with the Sheriff's Department, blue with the Police Department. However, the major difference is the Sheriff's Department has the outlying areas of the county. City has the city portion, and also in this county, San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department, deputies act as the deputy coroners. So although the police department responds to those scenes, the Sheriff's Department for unexplained deaths will actually go in and investigate the death.
Wow.
Right.
So unfortunately, it sounds like you saw a lot of the negative side of things that go on in our community. So let's say if you were in the city and you saw crime in progress, do you have jurisdiction to stop that crime, or how does that work?
Well, law enforcement officer, you're a law enforcement officer 24 hours a day. So you would obviously do what you needed to do to protect life, your own, and obviously you want to contact the jurisdiction in charge. As deputy sheriffs, another difference is the fact that back then we all had to start out at the custody facilities. Mm-hmm. So that meant a large portion of your career was learning. So being having the jurisdiction and working inside the men's jail, women's jail, honor farm, and that's what I did. A majority of my career was spent at those facilities. You do spend a long time there before you actually go out to patrol. And you do see the bad side, but it's great when you do get those thank yous and you do see the good side, and you always want to attempt to see the good side.
Well, and I'm sure that there are many cases where you were able to help someone turn their life around.
You do, and I know that even working in the jail, you see so many inmates that have gone down the wrong path. We've had generations in the jail where you're talking daughter, mother, grandmother, and there's no way in the world they're going to change their life around. But what a great feeling when you go out in the community and you happen to see one of them actually working with an organization, and they come up to you and say, thank you.
Wow.
I was able to change my life around, and that's a wonderful feeling. Doesn't happen a lot, but when you do see it and get to experience it, it makes everything worthwhile.
That's huge. And I know with Leadership Stockton, our class had the opportunity to tour the jail, and it really struck me how young so many of the inmates are, and we went to an area that was primarily men, and then there was some co-ed, I believe, but it was just really sad to me to see how much of our youth is in prison.
It is, and that's where it starts. I mean, it starts at a very young age, and, you know, we've got to reach the youth in our community, and I know that's one of the things that you're doing. So many other active leaders know that it starts at a very young age, and we have to intervene at that point in time because they are our future, and we're dependent upon them.
And kids need mentors, especially in our community. They need someone to help give them guidance and support and motivation so that they can choose a path that's going to create a positive career for them, and also hopefully contribute to them giving back to the community. If we can foster that in our youth, that will go a long way towards preventing crime in our community.
Absolutely, and sometimes it doesn't have to be a big, overwhelming intervention. It could be something as simple as a hand on the shoulder and great job, or looking that minor, that youngster in the eye and giving them that eye contact and that believability that they can do good, that you do believe in them, and that is really makes a difference in their lives.
I think that's a great point. That's a huge point. You also shared with me that you were on a domestic violence team. Was that connected to the sheriffs, or was that separate?
That was actually separate, although you do see a lot of domestic violence. A lot of your inmates are experiencing domestic violence. I became involved in the district attorney's domestic violence task force team with San Joaquin County. That began with my career over at the Women's Center, actually. So I had an opportunity to be able to join that as a keynote speaker. That was made up of our local judges, attorneys, district attorney investigators, educators, and we went out in the community to provide outreach to not only county organizations but private employers as well, to raise awareness and education of domestic violence.
And are you still involved with that? How long did you do that?
I was with them for, about 2 years. However, I continued that afterwards as well, just being a strong advocate, because I learned how traumatic domestic violence is, and the after effects of domestic violence. It's very intrusive, and it interferes with every aspect of one's life, their family, and their friends as well.
And are you still involved with the Women's Center?
I am, as far as an advocate. When you are in a paid position with a Women's Center, if you retire, you leave that post. You don't come back as an actual paid volunteer, but you can still always advocate. And I always advocate for the Women's Center. They are the experts in training domestic violence, and it allowed me an opportunity to really research in-depth policies, procedures with first responders, and how they respond to domestic violence crimes, whether they're firefighters, EMTs, law enforcement, and medical personnel as well.
So many organizations coming together to help people.
Absolutely, and it allowed me to really look at what was available and how first responders responded at that time. We were just on the brink of really getting to know the real long-lasting effects of domestic violence, and the fact that it is a crime. And what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it as mandated reporters? And through that, I learned that we really need to have stringent policies and procedures for our first responders. So I did go in with research and create policies, procedures, and protocols, to wherein I trained our local law enforcement, went around to different agencies, even the fire department, Delta College, high schools, and gave them information on the best way to intervene with a domestic violence victim to avoid further victimization and traumatizing that victim later in court.
Awesome. And I'm sure that there are steps, thankfully through you, put in place to gain people's trust, because someone that's gone through that I'm sure has been severely traumatized and isn't going to want to trust people that are there, even though there are people that are there to help. I'm sure any contact at that time is scary.
It is, and we did work as a team, and that was so wonderful about having this task force, is that we worked as a team together and put all these professionals together so they can go out and train in their profession, especially medical providers. I was very proud to be able to work with them, and at that time I worked with the acting director of the Child Advocacy Center and a local psychologist in really delving in deep into the medical research and how trauma affects the brain of adults and children, and how can we, as mandated reporters, become involved. What signs are we looking for in the exam room? Many times I'll say female and male, that's what we see a lot, but as a doctor, if you have a male, the boyfriend, let's say, husband, answering all the questions, she's looking away, there's all these little signs that you can see and pick up on, and that maybe that's a clue that you want to speak with her by yourself and excuse the other person. And abuse does happen with men as well, so it's very important to remember not to exclude anybody in this. And children.
Sure, animals in the household as well.
You better believe it. If you domestic violence many times will start with the animals. You go to report and someone's kicked a dog, you can pretty much believe that the children in that house are being abused. Other people in the house are being abused. So it really takes a team effort with awareness and intervention.
How closely did you, excuse me, how closely did you work with Joelle?
Very. She was our executive director at that time, was just amazing. And through her, I was able to really take this program and really make it what not only I needed it to be, that I felt I could see our community needed it to be, but being able to be a liaison with Stockton PD, going out with their investigators to follow up on calls to provide awareness and education. And remember, at that time, Women's Center was the only professional group in the area to get training and to put protocols in place.
So you created a legacy. I'm sure things that you put in place are now carried out in other avenues that you have no idea.
Well, I look at it as a team, not just me. I did a lot of work. However, I reached out to professionals across the country, as well as our local leaders as well. So it does take
awesome.
a team effort. It definitely does, and it's so wonderful now to see how responders are right on point with how they intervene. Sometimes things are missed. It happens. We live in the real world, but for the most part, it's wonderful to see how this has grown.
And I asked you earlier about my friend Joelle Gomez. I know she was the director of the Women's Center for a long time. I had the privilege last week to go to the children's home when they presented the new logo, and I'm sure she's going to do amazing work there. It was really neat to see her passion and to hear her goals about how she wants to transform the care for children that are in that facility and how amazing that facility is.
Absolutely. She has a wonderful passion for our community. The people that are involved are men, women, and children, and it's so great to see her continuing along the same lines and working with children. I believe we're going to see much success from her.
I believe it too, and I think our community is really lucky to have so many people like yourself and her that care and want to make things better. That to me is why I asked you on this show, and why I think this show is important, because there's so much in Stockton that's positive. Mainly people hear the negative, but we're fortunate to have so many people that fight every day to make things better for others.
Absolutely. You know, we have a passion for what we're doing. We have a passion for the people in our community, and I see the good things that are happening in our community. Yes, there's a lot of negative, but there's a lot of negative
Anywhere.
everywhere.
And we're a big city.
So,
we're the 13th largest city in California. We're going to have some issues.
Absolutely. But if you take a closer look on what is going on for this radio station, usually what we're doing, it's fantastic to be able to highlight the people and the events that are going on in our community. We have so many things going on in our community. There is no reason for anybody to be bored.
Yes, I agree. You had mentioned to me that you're a certified mediator. Can you explain what that is, and also tell our listeners, if that's something they're interested in participating in, how would they get the training and what's involved?
Sure. This is a great way to become involved. Many times it's with a dispute, let's say neighbor to neighbor dispute. Rather than going to court in front of a judge, you can mediate the situation. And a trained community mediator can stand in, listen to both sides, make sure both sides are getting their facts across, their point across, and you're basically mediating left to right, making sure each one gets a turn at what they need to say. If it's a contractual type disagreement, it's a way of doing this without the court involved, so to speak. And this is with the San Joaquin County Mediation Center. Through them, I was also able to work as a small claims advisor, which there's many ways, again, we can continue to get involved in our community. Where somebody has a civil service question, you can take that phone call, research the code, give them information. You're not giving them legal advice, but you're just advising them what forms they need to use, how to fill out those forms, what time court is, and it really demystifies the unknown to people. So if you're interested in something like that, I'd suggest the San Joaquin County Mediation Center.
Awesome. And how much training is involved in becoming a mediator?
There are several weeks involved. However, with that, it's a constant training because there's always so many subjects coming up, things you've never heard of. So you always want to make sure that you're on point as well as a mediator, constantly learning.
And so let's say that a couple are having a dispute over something. So you're given that case and they meet you at that center, and then you listen to them, and they are helping they work together to come to a resolution, or you give input? How
Absolutely. You want to empower them. Many times when you go to court, the power is taken away from people. So you want to empower, and many times that's where disagreements come from. Somebody feels they're losing power. So if you can give people the encouragement and feel that they both are empowered to make decisions, and they come to an agreement, it becomes something they're more likely to stick with. And
they had a say in the decision.
Absolutely. It's a win-win situation. I mean, sure, it's difficult, but when the court many times doesn't hear the emotional side, and with a mediator, you can actually get that emotion out, and sometimes that is at the crux of all these disagreements and not being able to come to an agreement. So it allows that to take place and occur and come to a resolution that they both have input on and they both agree on.
And that's wonderful, because that's a win-win. Out of a bad situation, they work together to come to something that they are both find acceptable. That's
absolutely,
awesome. With
absolutely.
No lawyers.
Right. Many times people think that the first thing, I've got to go to court to handle this. But reach out to the mediation center and see if there's another way to go about this. If this is one of those cases or events that can be handled with a mediator.
Awesome. Excellent. You also shared with me that you've helped on many other boards in our community. We talked about Haven of Peace.
Right.
Olga was here not long ago, and I have a special place in my heart for the Haven of Peace.
Yeah.
I'm planning to be on their board, but I want you to share what Haven of Peace means to you, and having spent time on their board and the facility.
Right. They have a special place in my heart as well. The Haven of Peace homeless shelter for women and children. It's not always the drug addicted mom who's lost her kids that winds up in a shelter. This could be a woman who is fleeing from a domestic violence situation. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's drugs involved, although many times police officers and other professionals, that's what you see. But it could very well be a situation that a mother was forced from her home. It could be a divorce situation, and she's taken her kids with her. And thank goodness for the Haven, they can go in there with their child under 12. I know it was boys under 12 at that time. And being a part of the board really allows you to have a bigger voice in how we can help the community, those that are needing services. And although it was quite some time ago, it was I took a lot of pride in being able to have some say on how we can further help our community. And Olga's fantastic. I love what she's doing today with the Haven.
She's transformed it, and I mentioned to her I was there for the pancake breakfast, and when you walk in there, it feels like a home. It doesn't feel like a shelter. And I think that's so important. That must be so comforting to the people that are staying there, that it's not your typical shelter. She laughed when I said that. She said, yes, we're known as the bed and breakfast of shelters. And I think especially for women and women with young children, that has to make it so much more comforting and help them in their progress moving forward.
Absolutely. And then they're given life skills there. Once again, you know, there are women that may come in that don't have those life skills, that don't have the work experience. So when they're there, they're given all this information, training, life skills. So they're really able to stop whatever cycle is going on in their life to become self-sufficient and go out and be a productive citizen in our community.
And they have the beautiful computer room, they have the clothing closet, they do mock interviews, and just like what you said, all of that helps them to become independent.
They do, and especially the children. The children look up to that parent. We're role models as parents. So when they see their parents becoming involved, learning these life skills, becoming self-sufficient and independent, that speaks volumes to those kids, and that empowers those kids to want to follow suit and become independent and do the right thing as well.
And then I didn't know you were involved with hospice.
I am. Hospice? Thank you. Our San Joaquin County Hospice is our not-for-profit hospice here. I am a volunteer with a Hospice Butterfly Auxiliary Volunteers, and they're an amazing group of women. San Joaquin Hospice, whether you can afford to be there or not, they do provide a full range of comprehensive, compassionate medical care, counseling and support, not only for the terminally ill patient, but what's so amazing is they rally around the family. The family can go into a hospice house, take care of their terminally ill loved one as far as emotional side, and hospice workers can take care of the rest. You can go in, sit down, relax as family. You're giving counseling, you're giving support, because as a caregiver, it's devastating. And to be able to have the ability to receive counseling as well is amazing. The auxiliary volunteers, what we do is we're the fundraising aspect for the hospice house. These ladies are fantastic, and it's so wonderful to be a part of that, knowing that these funds are going directly into our San Joaquin County nonprofit hospice. We put on signature events. Many people.
The sip and stroll.
We have the sip and stroll that's coming up. We have to talk about that for all of the wine lovers out there. If nothing else, is just providing to a wonderful cause. Our Kentucky Derby West, our champagne and English tea, and these fundraisers serve hundreds of people in our community. So we're able to continue to fund the hospice house.
What is the capacity on the hospice house? How many people can be there?
Unfortunately, I don't have that exact number, but they do serve so very many. And with the auxiliary, we have 4 chapters. We have the Stockton, Lodi, Manteca, Tracy chapters of our butterflies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's another opportunity for people who want to volunteer, that want to give back to our community, can definitely do so and become involved in our hospice auxiliary.
My prior boss actually did an artwork, a sculpture for you guys to lean on me, and you were using that for a while as a fundraiser. And hospice is amazing in our community. My dad passed away from cancer when I was young. We were in Southern California, but hospice is pivotal with helping people to deal with health issues and grief and support, and to help them get through an extremely difficult time.
It does, and you cannot forget the children as well. And they do have programs for children, and for the children to be able to have support these days, it is amazing. They don't have to go through life feeling unsupported, alone. They themselves get counseling. So it's wonderful, all the programs that are available
Why don't
to
you
them.
go through those different signature events that you were talking about and kind of highlight what they are and what time of year they occur?
Sure. Well, our Kentucky Derby West was just not too long ago, around the April part of the season, and that's fun. All the ladies love to dress up in their big Kentucky Derby hats, and again, it's just an amazing fundraiser.
And that's held at a really cool place. Where is?
I think it's amazing what they're doing out there.
It's awesome.
I was involved this year with a champagne and English tea held at the Presentation Church here in Stockton. And I believe we served around 500 people. And again, ladies dressed up in their finest tea hats and Sunday best, and as volunteers we served tea and little brunch items. It was a really fancy event, but yet it was I don't want to say low key, but you can come as you are. That's the fun thing about this, is you can just come as you are and become involved, and we have amazing raffle prizes as well that people can bid on.
I need to make sure next year that I get to go to that. This year I couldn't, but I'm looking forward to the Sip and Stroll.
That is coming up. I'm excited. The Moonlight Sip and Stroll, Saturday, August 19th through 6 to 9. We're going to have 35 wineries represented out there. So
that's awesome. Each year it's bigger and bigger.
It is. It's grown so much. We have distilleries, food from 50 restaurants. We have at least 5 bands, local artists. So we're really highlighting, again, the artists in our community, whether it actually is art, it's music, our wineries, it's all local, and we're highlighting all of those things.
And a lot of culture. How much are tickets to the Sip and Stroll?
Tickets are between $60 and $65. They will be the Sip and Stroll. Brookside Heron Lakes Drive is closed down for this amazing event. There's hundreds of people that will show to provide their support for hospice. And I believe you can still get tickets, and I can provide a phone number if people would be interested.
Yes.
That number is 209-957-3888. And if you go online to all events, you can also gather more information on that site as well.
Awesome. Well, let's come back to what you're doing now. We've kind of gone full circle. So Delta Humane Society is also very special to both of us. I don't know if you know that I'm a past board member. I've known Patrice a long time, since I first started working in Stockton. How did you become involved with Delta Humane Society?
I think it's just an evolution. You're involved in the community, you want to help people, and that passion has always remained. And I just believe people are put in your place at the right time for the right reasons. And it wasn't one defining moment. My attention just continued to grow to help others, and in this case, turned over to our pets, which how can you not help but love? And I think it also came from my set of rescues that I have, and just wanting to become more involved in that area in our community.
Well, and Delta Humane Society to me is amazing because they're a no-kill facility, and they're one of the few that we have in our community. I'm going to let you talk about and highlight Delta Humane Society.
Thank you. Well, as many people know or don't know, Delta Humane Society is our county's first original no-kill shelter, which speaks volumes because it is still going strong today, 51 years later. And, we're not supported by any city, state, federal, national organizational funds. All the funds are derived from our wonderful citizens in our community that bless us through monetary donations, estate donations, and it's once you bring your pet or an animal is taken to Delta Humane Society, if for whatever reason they cannot be adopted out, they remain there for their entire life. So that's their home, and everyone treats them that way. There's no euthanasia. We don't subscribe to euthanasia. We believe in humane treatment for all animals. And that includes guinea pigs that I've known we've had over there at
You've
one
had
time.
Some turtles too, I think Patrice was telling
Turtles,
me.
rabbits. Gosh, I think the menagerie list just goes on, but they're pets and they're given love and care, and they stay with us if for whatever reason they can't be adopted out. And it could be something as simple as, people want to come in and they only want a puppy. They only want this type of dog. So unfortunately, this cute other little dog just sits there for years to no fault of their own. So we really want people to come out, check out Delta Humane Society. Even though we're a no-kill shelter, we still need people coming in, taking a look at these pets and giving them their forever loving home.
Definitely. And one of the things when I was there recently that I loved is the garden. That's just so beautiful, and what a great setting for people to sit and relax, spend time with a dog that they're considering adopting. And I love that it's a tribute to a past volunteer. Did you want to talk
Absolutely.
about that?
It's a very comfortable feeling when you come into our shelter.
Yes.
I believe it's very homey. It's very comfortable. It's just a sense of welcoming, because we want you to come in and give these pets a chance. And our garden area is a wonderful place. In fact, I adopted my little pug Chihuahua, Bella, there. And it was wonderful because I saw her and I was able to take her out to the garden area, let her be herself, play, lay down, whatever she wanted to do. So it's a wonderful area that people can come out, take a look at their pets a little bit closer, spend time with them. That's key. You want to spend time. So it's wonderful that we have that area to do that.
And the cattery is beautiful. I love that the cats are housed in groups so that they're socialized.
Absolutely.
And they interact, and I think that helps to give them just a happier life while they're there, and it also showcases them really nicely.
Absolutely, because these are tall catteries. They're not small little cages where they're cramped in. It allows them to wander, it allows them to socialize, and it allows those looking for pets to actually get a sense of who they are. They're not all cooped up in one little tiny cage. But however, regardless, they're still there and they need homes.
And Delta Humane Society needs a lot of support. I know that you're planning to talk about an upcoming event. Besides financial support, talk to me about volunteers and maybe items that they might want donated.
Absolutely. We need volunteers. If anybody has a passion for pets, they want to find a way to get involved, we will train you. Come on out to Delta Humane Society. We rely on our volunteers, and for our mobile site adoptions where we go on the weekends as well, we need volunteers to help with the socialization of the cats, the dogs, and to help us on those mobile sites. So volunteers are very important to us. 16 years and older, come on out.
Do you have contact information that you can share if people want to volunteer?
Sure, absolutely. You definitely can go on the website, which is www.deltahumanesociety.com. Phone number is 209-466-0339. or 466-0331, and we can go ahead and give you information if you're interested in volunteering. And we always are in need of dry and canned dog food, bedding, for our pets as well.
And you can share that if you want to hold that up
Yeah,
to the
thank
camera.
you.
You can show.
Can you guys
the
see that?
postcard for Delta
Sorry,
Humane.
Julie, right in front of you.
It's all good. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Right now, this is the focus.
We are having a wonderful pet food drive. We always need pet food, but right now we really are in need of dry and canned dog and cat food. And we have several locations that you can drop these off at. One, of course, is the main shelter, which is 4590 South Highway 99 at Arch Road. However, I always recommend calling first because many times the office, we're out in the kennels, so make sure somebody is there. You can also drop off at Carter's Pet Mart.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 909 West March Lane. Pet Supplies Plus, that's 1140 West Hammer Lane. And Manteca, Carter's Pet Mart, PetSmart, and Lodi Pet Supplies Plus. And of course, the Thrift Boutique is a donation drop-off, so you can always bring items that you wish to donate and monetary as well to us.
And we'll be talking about the boutique, but I know you want to talk about the golf tournament that's coming up.
Absolutely. One of our biggest signature events, Monday, September 25th, is our 5th annual Delta Humane Society golf tournament over at Mickey Grove Golf Links. And our partner is the Phil Am Lions Club.
Yay.
And our wonderful honorary chair is Dr. Julie Brown. So thank you.
I was honored to be asked. I was surprised, and it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fantastic. I think the weather's going to be great too. We still have time to sign up golfers, and what's wonderful about it is when you sign up, there is a $100 Super Bowl raffle ticket included.
Awesome.
So $150 per golfer. However, you're getting a $100 Super Bowl raffle ticket included, and a chance to win a new vehicle with Chase Chevrolet.
Yay! Thank you, Chase Chevrolet.
Thank you, Chase. So there's many opportunities to win big. And if you're interested, there's still time. Like I said, you want to contact our development director, Darcy Coster, at darcycoster@gmail.com, and I'll spell that. It is DARCYKOSTER@gmail.com, or give her a call, 209-466-0331.
And that'll be a great day to come out and play golf. It's a wonderful facility. My Lions Club, who also is having a golf tournament coming up, had their tournament there last year, and it's just a great facility, and we're fortunate, at least for now, to have that as a community golf facility. So come out, enjoy a great day for a great cause, help support the needy animals in our community.
Absolutely, and thank you to all who are enjoying this golf tournament, who are participating. We're also going to be having more raffle prizes as well. So all you golfers out there, this is a way to become further involved in your community. We'd love to see you out there.
Awesome. And so now let's talk about the thrift store, because that's going through a transition
It is.
well with your loving care.
Thank you. I'm very proud to be involved with, number one, Delta Humane Society, and to have the opportunity to have taken over and renew the thrift boutique that we've had.
I like that you call it a boutique, because that
It is.
suits, especially with what you've done.
Thank you. It really is. It's not your typical thrift store. It's an upscale boutique that we have new and gently used clothing, collectibles, vintage items, designer clothing, like I said, home decor. So
Pet items.
And a lot of pet items. Yes, that's exciting. A lot of pet items. And daily we have parents coming in with their fur babies looking for clothing for their babies and pet supplies, and we're just happy to be able to supply that. And it's important to know that 100% of the proceeds from sales are going to Delta Humane Society.
That's amazing.
So our goal and our mission is to support the views, mission of Delta Humane Society 100%. And we also have a big need for volunteers. This is another way to become involved in our community. And if you love pets, being able to assist with a boutique, whether it's up front or in the back receiving donations, because everything we receive in the store is donated to us, and we sort that out carefully, make sure the best of the best is going out on the sales floor.
Awesome. Excellent. And you're going to be relocating.
We are. I'm proud to say that I've become the new owner of the Thrift Boutique. We're going, yay, thank you. We're going through a name change, and our name, drum roll, here we go, is a Pawtastic Thrift Boutique. Pawtastic because I believe all of our pets are fabulous, fantastic. We wanted to pay homage to that and highlight that the reason that we're there is for paws, is for pets. And again, 100% of the proceeds will continue to go to the Delta Humane Society. We're in the process now of getting things moved over to the new store, which will be located at 2210 Pacific Avenue on
That's the Miracle Mile.
Yes, on the lovely Miracle Mile. So we're definitely blessed to have a place there right next to With Garden Flair. And that should be opening, I would say, between the first and second week of September.
And that's the location where the bookstore was, is that correct?
It is a Miracle Mile bookstore. We were gifted the inventory. We will still have thousands of books there.
Oh, wonderful.
And we will. And however,
that's a win-win.
It is.
Excellent.
And the bookstore, we can't carry the full load of books, so we've been partnering with other organizations, and I'll be continuing to reach out to other organizations to donate, bless them with some books that perhaps they can utilize in however they need as well. But the old store, 6830 Pacific Avenue frontage, across from Lincoln Center North, this is going to I believe our last week as we close up. So we're going to be having some amazing sales, clearance sales, this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And you don't want to miss out on these sales. They're going to be big.
And if someone still wants to donate to you while you're in transition, can they do that?
They can donate. What we're asking for at this time is I'm continuing to accept the pet wish list items. So small blankets, towels, bedding, canned food, any type of pet wish list items. We'll definitely go ahead and accept the bigger type clothing donations. We're really asking if people can wait until we get moved in, since we are in the process of packing and moving at this time.
Understandable. Awesome.
Right.
And how does someone reach you directly if they want to contact you to volunteer, what have you?
That's fantastic. We're building a volunteer auxiliary, and we have some amazing programs going on that I'll be building. I can't divulge all the information out, but you definitely want to be a part of some of our membership programs and our volunteer auxiliary. And I can be reached through the store phone number at 209-952-2023, or you can send me an email at pawtastic@gmail.com.
And will you be carrying that same phone number with you to the new location?
It is.
Great.
We will still have the same phone number, the 209-952-2023. And also we'll be doing some mobile adoptions out of there in the near future as well.
Wonderful.
So we'll be another site. Yeah, very
Amazing.
exciting.
And we'll have to connect with Werlo's, because Werlo's is always so supportive of multiple nonprofits, and I know Lisa also has a special place for animals in her heart. And maybe we can do a big adoption event.
Absolutely. We worked with her this last event that Lisa had behind Werlo's.
And in the doghouse?
In the doghouse.
Yeah,
that was a really great event.
The Animal Protection League.
Right. And we were out there as well, showing the community what is available for adopting pets in our community.
Wonderful.
So that's going to be another great venture. And being on the Miracle Mile, there's just so much visibility. And I do want to say that because my passion for this community, I'm going to be involving our local community within the store, whether it be through art expressions, other artists, other community events that are happening. We want to be able to showcase that. I want people to come into the store and have an aha moment of what we have to offer here.
And Joy Ness, you mentioned art expressions. Joy Ness is heavily involved with that, and she's with the radio station as well. And she does amazing art outreach in the community. And like we said earlier, there's so many wonderful things going on in Stockton. We
Absolutely.
just need to highlight that. Is there anything that you wanted to add?
Well, I just want to add, for one, thank you, Julie, for allowing me the opportunity to come here and being a part of this. And it's wonderful. I'm just going to be down the block, Julie, so I'll see you often.
All right. Awesome. So thank you. I'm signing off. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Shout out to All Creatures Emergency Clinic. Have a great day.